of the coal industry by 2020. Well, is your accountant doing all it can, he or she, for your business? According to Nic Clark, CEO of 10X, a Brisbane-based consultancy firm, accountants aren't doing all they can for their clients, and if properly utilised, they can help stem business failures. We spoke to Mr. Clark earlier today and began by asking if the problem was entirely the fault of accountants.
The accounting fraternity needs to educate the business owners as to what is available for the business owners, rather than the business owners having to go to the accounting firms themselves.
So what specific areas are accountants failing their clients? Could you give us just a few points there?
Well, if you look at business owners, they generally they want to know whether they're cash flow positive or cash flow negative. The accountants have those fingers. Once the accounting firm does the profit and loss and balance sheet for a business, the accountant knows by just a few figures and a few calculations whether the business is cash flow positive. As well as that, the accounting firm also, with a few calculations, knows whether the business is increasing in value or decreasing in value. And if you have a look at a business, the main reasons why you're in business obviously is for lifestyle, is to have cash coming in, and to also create future superannuation.
So you're putting a lot of the blame on the accountants themselves. Should business owners really have a better grasp of their business affairs, and therefore they would be able to take advantage of everything that's available to them?
Yes, they should. However, you look at most business owners throughout the world, they're technically based. They know how to create a good pizza, they know how to create a clean home if they're a cleaner, and so forth. But a lot of business owners aren't actually educated in the area of accounting. So yes, I am putting blame on the accountant simply because it's a little bit... And every one of those businesses had an accountant who could have actually done something about it.
So do you think that some of the complicated compliance issues that accountants absolutely have to take care of are actually in a way getting in the way of them really being able to get a handle and an understanding of their clients' needs and affairs?
Yes, that would be true. Because they've got so much compliance work, and because they've got, in fact, too much work, and most of the accounting firms, they're over capacity, which means they have too much work for the number of staff they've got on board. And if they didn't have that, in some other countries where you don't have as high a level of GST compliance, then the accountant has to look around at, okay, how can I more service these clients? And in the business community, that of course would be looking at their figures.
Plenty more to come after the break.
Tonight, as McCain shakes the race.
She's not from these parts, and she's not from Washington.
I was just your average hockey mom.
Has he stolen Obama's spotlight?
They have not served a red America or a blue America. They have served the United States of America.
Or is it just a play to win the female vote?
John McCain is the prisoner of the right wing.
McCain's wife and John Kerry speak their mind.
It's the great American dream.
This week, late night tonight on Sky News.
Like if you were to go and get your house termite inspected, you would have an expectation that they would do all of the house and not leave the underneath of the house for somebody else to do. So it's a little bit like the accounting firm. They know the figures, they know how to account, they know how to look at the future of the business, but they simply don't because they've got too much compliance work on.
So are accountants taken for granted? I mean, how can people ensure that they really have an accountant that's going to be on their side and is knowledgeable in all the ways that they're not?
Well, the best way for a business owner to know whether they've got a reasonable accountant or not is, has the accountant gone further than just doing the tax compliance work? Is the accountant asking questions? How's your cash flow? Can we let's look at some KPIs? What KPIs are going to be positive for your business? Some of those KPIs are going to be revenue, cost of goods sold, overheads, accounts payable, accounts receivable, stock, which all leads to your net variable cash flow. So the accountant needs to be proactive in asking their client questions rather than just doing the compliance work and waiting for the client to ask them questions.
So in a way, are accountants a little bit complacent? And how do they actually contribute to business failures if they are in that complacent sort of mind frame?
If you look at it, with regards to the GST and the requirement to produce a profit and loss and balance sheet for tax compliance, most accounting firms, they have plenty of work coming in. There's enough work for the accountant just doing the compliance work to keep their business operational. Now, that's a real challenge because the accounting firm doesn't get to actually work proactively on the important things about the business, which is cash flow and increasing in value. So for me, it's very important that the accountant does actually look at the figures, because if you ever look at the business failure, there's 65 to 80% of businesses will fail in the first 5 years.